Hello, I see Apollo and Juan. How's it going, Juan? Welcome to the stream, man. How's your week been? It's been about a week since I streamed. I think I need to turn music down a little bit. There we go. But yeah, I think it's been about a week since I streamed. I know you couldn't really hang out much last time, Juan, because unfortunately Twitch seemed to be being weird. Whatever issue you were having, my preview was having. So that stream ended up kind of petering out. But it was a fun game. I want to play some more Only Up. I think I might try streaming on Twitch again this Thursday. We'll see. Been playing Oxenfree 2. What's that about? I've never heard of that one. I've been playing Splatoon. I played the Splatfest and I got really back into it. And because it's been so long since I played, my Anarchy rank dropped to a level where I'm not getting slaughtered. Because I made it to like S rank, maybe like initial S plus, in the first season, and should not have been there. I had some really lucky A rank matches where the team just synced really well. Like we were doing great as a team, but other than that, could not hold it together. So now that I dropped back down into A ranks again, my head's above water barely, barely, but it's there. But yeah. It's good to be here, good to be streaming again. Hopefully today goes okay. I know I mentioned on Discord a while back, and it was why a couple of streams didn't happen, where on 4th of July I got hit in the head with a car hood, and it just like kind of squished me down, so my whole like neck and back have like randomly been unhappy, which is understandable. Today is one of those days it's turning out, like everything right in here is just unhappy with movement. So we'll see. I'm gonna try to make it work, but we'll see. I also don't actually know how well set up I am for shiny hunting. We're gonna find out here. I'm gonna go ahead and pop over to switch. Oh wow, yeah, that was the apology banjo donation goal was like a relevant joke for like a week. It's been like a month. But alright, let's see. I think I have eggs. My plan's just to keep doing more Paldean starter eggs. I think I have enough. I think I grabbed a ton post the first Sprigatito. So I want to get some more. So I think I have enough to do today. I think the plan is to go as long as my back allows me or until we run out of eggs. Assuming that running out of eggs isn't like... Oh yeah, because we also did the gimme rules. So what do we got? Basically a decision-based game, and every choice affects how things go. Oh, cool. I'm always stressed out by those kind of games. Okay, we got tons of eggs. Cool. I don't actually know where all the gimme will have been placed, but we're just gonna... The PC is a mess. And it's just gonna stay a mess. I think my Talonflame I use for Flame Body is like in slot 1 or something, or slot 3. Okay. Yeah, no. None of this is properly organized anymore. And you can't tell because they don't load. But now we should be good to just grab stacks of eggs. As well as if I can remember the map button. Rex and spooking him with a little puzzle solving. Nice! Nice. Yeah, like I said, I've been playing Splatoon some. Aside from that, I've been playing a bit of Trackmania. Supposed to be in class right now, then why aren't you in class, Twist? You're outing yourself. How's it going, man? Join stream instead. I don't know if this stream's gonna be as educational as class, I'll be honest. How's it going, man? Yeah, I've been playing Splatoon, been playing a bit of Trackmania. I've also been playing Sackboy. I ended up picking that up in the Steam sale. It's been okay, it's a casual platformer. Getting everything in every level is gonna take a while. It's going well, the class currently being hijacked. I don't know what that means. I don't know if I really want to know what that means. I don't know. I'm glad things are going well, though, man. Just make sure opinions heard. I know what you mean, then. Yeah, I had some classes like that. Yo, Hamza, what's going on? We here. What's going on, man? Welcome to the stream. Glad you're here. Hope you're doing well. Apologies for not streaming much here this month. I have been busy. The first, like, July ended up being a really weirdly busy month for a few reasons. I knew, like, one part of it was gonna happen, but then there were repercussions from that one part. And that ended up slowing down stream schedule. But hopefully I can build something up. I know August is also gonna have some weirdness happening. I got a bunch of things happening in the span of like one weekend in the middle of August. And they're all great. I'm happy all of it's happening, you know? You know those times where it's like, there's so much happening, it's overwhelming. I gotta, like, it's gonna take so much to figure out what I'm doing. But I don't want any of it to be different. And I still need to change this thing from saying sponsor, because it's been numbers for the last, like, 4 years now? 5 years now? I've been streaming 6 years, and they changed it to memberships like half a year in. But I appreciate it, Hamza. I really appreciate it. 27 months. That's insane. That's over 2 years. I really appreciate that support, man. But yeah, hopefully I can figure out schedule stuff. I'm in this weird state, like, with how often I'm streaming, where, like, getting streams set up is, it's not significant effort, right? Like, I come in, like, physically speaking, I come in, I turn the stream on, and I go. But it's from the, I have so much stuff happening. Hey, this is July the Wise. Welcome, welcome. July's been weird, no lie there. Dude, wild. How does the shiny hunting method work? So this is Masuda method. Basically, the shiny hunting part of it, the shiny part of it's happened in a way, or the method part of it's happened, and now it's just the hunting, which is just hatching over and over again. So basically, eggs that are created between two Pokemon of different regions. Like, of the actual world, not, like, in the game, but, like, a Pokemon from, like, Japan and a Pokemon from the US. If they make an egg, that egg has an increased chance of being shiny. So that is what we've done here. The Ditto that I have is from someone in Korea. So any eggs created with that Ditto and Pokemon I catch in this copy of the game that's set to English have an increased chance of being shiny. So now it's just a matter of hatching a crap ton of eggs. But yeah, like I was saying, like I'm in this weird state with it, right? Where, especially between streaming a bit here, streaming a bit on Twitch, there's a lot of decisions that happen to decide what I'm gonna stream and where I'm gonna stream it. And in that moment, that decision making, I'm like averse to it, right? As opposed to like last year, where it's like, this time last year was like, I was streaming like Cuphead or something, and I was gonna stream Cuphead till I beat it, and I'd stream it on these days. Not having that schedule and not having that, like, I'm gonna stream this game on this platform, like, already set ahead of time, it makes it more likely for me to go, I could go to the gym and mow the lawn today, and then I do that. And that's what happens. So yeah, I gotta get the schedule kind of going, but with, like, yeah, July starting weird, right? I knew I was gonna have like a weekend where I was out of town. 4th of July happened. Recommend Oxenfree. It's a 5-hour game. I'll have to look into it. I feel like like I said, like, I'm so bad at decision making. It's what always, like, I, like, get paralyzed in games when I'm making decisions if, like, I can't undo that decision. I've been trying to get better about it. I have been getting better about it, but usually that's a point where there was a game, like a mobile game, all my friends were playing, and I didn't get into it for like 3 years because like there was one thing that it asked you to do, and I was like, I don't know, and it was nothing. It was nothing. It was a tutorial thing, but like that's how ridiculous I can be about it. But yeah, so with July, like I was out of town for a good chunk, like for it ended up being like 4 or 5 days for something, all in once, like planning and going there and coming back and getting everything unpacked. Like a lot of stuff happened. 4th of July was 4th of July. I had plans to go see family. Then I got invited to a racetrack for an event that was happening with some buddies. Got hit in the head with a car hood at said racing event. So any chance of me streaming directly after 4th of July were shot. I'm in bed. At the start of stream today, I even mentioned it's weird. It pops back up every once in a while. I'll feel fine, and then like I go out in my yard and find like a stick fell off of a tree, and I like toss it, right? Just like toss it off into the woods again, like off the driveway or something. And my back will just go, that wasn't good. You shouldn't have done that. It's like, what do you mean? It was just like that. And like my entire shoulder blade is just like, we're done for the day. It'll take time. It'll take time for that to kind of recover. It's happened before. I need to be nicer to my back. It's not too crazy with the decision. It's mostly what you want to do. You can choose no option, finish the game if you want. And having a similar issue with your knee. It's weird. Joints are funny. Shockingly, they don't like a hard physical trauma. So yeah, that was a fun one. Oh, that was a fun one. You want to run and then suddenly your lower leg just goes numb. That's a little bit different than mine. Huh. Mine's just like, something between my mid-back and my neck just is unhappy for a day. To go to a doctor. Yeah, right. Like, coming from someone who probably also should have gone to a doctor, probably should have at least seen medical track staff, should go to a doctor for that one. As someone who avoids doctors myself for no particularly valid reason, you should go see one. I feel like if anything, it being longer is more of a reason. You both need to go to a doctor? Yes. But I didn't want to, like, for me the thing is, right, this happened. I don't know if I ever actually showed pictures of, like, what happened on stream. I was having to spend a couple grand on an MRI. Say I don't know what's wrong with you, and then you need to see a specialist. That do be how it goes. I mean, I can't criticize you, because aside from the money bit, right, my logic with my thing is, like, my helmet was toast, right? Like, I knew it got hit hard enough it was toast. The hood was clearly crumpled in a way where my head and the helmet on my head bent a sheet metal hood. What was medical staff gonna tell me aside from, yeah, you're concussed? It's like, I know that. I can move my toes and walk somewhat straight. What else are you gonna tell me, right? That was my logic, and it's like, I also know they have one set of medical staff on track. What am I gonna do? Or, you know, what are they gonna do except tell me that? While also halting the entire track now. Because, oh, this one dude off in the pits, like, needs us to look at him. It's like, look. It's like, I know what happened. I wonder who left that dislike. Someone who's not a valid member of this community. I know it was you, Juan. I know who did it. Also, Juan, you outed yourself, bud. Only I can see the dislikes. How would you know there is one if you didn't do it? I was hoping for that. You were hoping I'd realize. You hoping I'd realize it? I'm too smart for this. I've caught on. I've caught on to your schemes. Also, a question that just came to my mind. Juan, you might know this. I don't know who else is in chat that might, but like, when do the Pokemon DLCs come out? Are they both coming out in like the fall, or is one coming out like soon? I like completely forget. I haven't paid attention at all. I have no clue what I would do for it. This weird lighting's gonna make Sprigatito's look shiny. Still no date. Okay, got you. Are they gonna try to pull like a shadow release on us with one of them then? Like they've at the very least said generalized timelines, right? Like late summer or like holiday season or something. Because I know they're like, it's like Isle of Armor and Crown Tundra where there's like 1, 2. When the egg is hatching, what does it tell that shows it would be shiny? The Pokemon will be shiny when it comes out of said egg. There really isn't another way to tell. The animation for the egg itself's the same. Not hyped for the DLC. I'm not all too hyped either, but it could be an interesting thing to mess around with. I don't know. The thought just came to my mind. Like, I haven't been following them much at all. I don't know what they're gonna add. And realistically, anything I would care for them to add is something they should is like any updates to the game that would be happening that I truly care about are updates that the core game should get without DLC. Right? The biggest things to me they could add is performance improvements, which would just need to be for the entire game, because these, I don't know, that might be part of my weird lack of motivation, especially with these games. It's just, it's not a polished experience. As much as people have said, well all Pokemon had like issues and stuff for a while, it's like, there's only a certain like level of issue, right? Still play it. You'll still play it, but you got other fun games to play, and shiny hunting is still priority. Also, don't care about content, just make the games work. Exactly. At this point, exactly, right? I think there's a lot of ways in which these Pokemon games are some of the best that have ever been made. Especially best of the 3D games, in certain ways. Those ways are so just categorically undermined by the performance and graphical problems. I don't think we're going to see graphical improvements. That is a pipe dream. Performance, though. Performance should be fixed. I should be able to rapidly click through my PC and see Pokemon sprites. That hasn't been something that's needed to be stated before this game. So it's like, I don't know, I'm conflicted still. I'm curious, actually. Now that I'm saying it, I think I need to go and find the old hard drive to my old desktop. And, well, no, actually, I think I already have pulled it. I just need to make sure I still have it. I need to get the 3DS capture software working on this PC so I can hook up my old cap card and just play, like, Sun and Moon. Or do, like... Oh, man, now I want to do this. I don't know how practical it is. And I know it's kind of difficult now. That you can still do it. You can still do it, right? Like, this is still possible, it's just a little bit clunkier. I need to go back and work on my Gen 6 National Dex. The last game to have fully fledged national dex support and shiny living national dex support, I need to go back and do it. Even if I can't do certain, like, things, right? Like, you can't... Certain legendaries aren't available, but oh well. Think they, Game Freak, are being held back by the Switch, it being a 6-year-old console? No. No. Have you seen other Switch games? I can swap in Splatoon right now. The problem for Game Freak is, and realistically, by the time Gen 6 was being talked about, or was being developed, it stopped being an excuse. It's the reason it's not a good excuse anymore. They genuinely didn't think the Switch would be successful and were like, yeah, right, Nintendo, we don't need to make a big game for you guys, and then went, aw, crap, we gotta make games, the system's selling well. Every other console that was out when it released have had a major generation update. PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X. Okay, but the PS4 and Xbox One came out, what, 4 years before the Switch came out? So that doesn't quite line up. Like, the thing is, again, I'm just gonna point to other games on the system. Don't look outside the system, right? Look at Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom as games that have performance issues, but look how good they look. The menus aren't buggy. Like this problem right here, Twist. This is not... What is about to happen is not a limitation on the Switch. Why is it taking countable seconds to load in, like, 100 by 100 pixel images? Hey, Force, you're new here, what's going on? We're doing some shiny hunting. How are you doing? Trying to get ourselves some shiny Gen 9 starters. So yeah, there are two arguments at play, and they're completely separate arguments. The Switch is at this point fairly underpowered. The Tegra chip is from like 2015, so even if the Switch is newer, like the chip itself is several years older than the Switch. And yes, we're at a point where I think a lot of people are now at the point where like, all right, a new Switch is kind of valid. It is. The Switch is like what, 6-7 years old. It's a valid thing to point to. I guess it's what, 6 years old. That is like the previous few generations, like console lifetimes. So yeah, I think there's a valid argument for the Switch needs a successor now. We're getting to a point where it's valid to have a successor. It's not too soon. It's probably about the right time. I still really like the idea of like an external GPU in the dock, so like docked games can look phenomenal and actually run at like modern TV like resolutions, while also being able to like pop out, run a little bit slower but be portable. I think that'd be a great solution. Gaming laptops have done this for a while. It's ridiculously expensive for them, but I think the Switch with more limited hardware and selling at a loss as video game hardware is, I think that'd be a kind of neat idea. Obviously, at this point, new system to do it, but I think that'd be cool. But it is an entirely separate argument that Pokemon is not utilizing the Switch as well as it could. Only as you switch to play Pokemon, and then very regularly, because of the frame rate issues, they give you headaches. So you're not, yeah. But yeah, just shiny hunting starters. Yeah, I've really procrastinated doing shiny hunting in these games. This is only like my 5th Scarlet Violet stream, I think, since the games came out. Irregularly, not regularly, yeah. Using a shiny Ditto for breeding. We're using a Korean Ditto with my English Pokemon, so it's Masuda stuff. So that's how you're getting the boosted shiny odds. Hey, what's going on, Fire Master? Welcome, welcome. Because yeah, having a shiny Ditto doesn't actually have an effect on the breeding. That was the case in Generation 2. When, like, the stats that got passed down by parents also were what affected shininess, like when the DVs controlled shinies. But now that number's a little bit more manually manipulated by the code. It's a separate number from the other stats, so it's handled where if two Pokemon from different regions in, like, the physical human world, right, not the Pokemon world, Like a Pokemon that is like French or English or Japanese or Korean or whatever, if it breeds with a Pokemon from a different region of the world, you increase the shiny chances then. But yeah, I can see that if you only play Pokemon on your Switch, if like that's the perspective. But I would say look at footage from like Splatoon or from Mario Odyssey or either of the new Zelda game or either of the Zelda games on the Switch. Honestly, even look at like Link's Awakening as a little remake. These games just have a lot of issues that others don't in a lot of ways. And I think it's just Game Freak has always been like Game Freak's been in their own league for so long before the Switch, right? Like how many major Nintendo franchises? Because like Pokemon's not first party, but it's close. How many large, heavily related to Nintendo franchises are like solely Nintendo franchises, right? Zelda, Kirby, Pokemon, all these things. How many of those franchises were handheld only before the Switch? The only one I can think of is Pokemon, right? As far as like big flagship franchises. There are some things that kind of were like a series that's only handheld, but it's like a spin-off of another thing. Pokemon's been the only one like that, so they've been in their own game. So when they merged with all these development teams that have been doing home consoles and big screen stuff, I just think they were out of their depth. Thank you for the info. Hunting a Ditto for some starters and other Pokemon from Legends Arceus. Got you. Yeah. So the best way to do it is find someone who wants to trade. Like if your game is set to English and all of your Pokemon are English, if you can find someone to trade with that plays on a Japanese copy or Korean or French or German or whatever they play on, as long as it's a different language, and you all can like trade Dittos, and then both of you have a Ditto that can be used for Masuda method. But yeah, I had the same thought in my head when I first started shiny hunting. The first thing I ever hunted was a shiny Ditto because I thought it would help with breeding. It was a cool Ditto. I'm not upset that I got it because it's a great shiny and a great Pokemon. But it did not help with breeding at all, and I had to get a Japanese Ditto after that. So yeah, that is the heads up. It's worth hunting. It's worth having. But it won't help with shiny hunting unless it's a different language. Oh yeah, 444484448. Yeah. I think that's how I got mine. Yeah, like the community's already set this up. This is at least Scarlet Violet. I don't know if it's different for Arceus. I actually don't know what the trading process is in Arceus, if there is one, because I didn't get enough into that game. Andrew, what's going on? Welcome to the stream. What shinies do I have on this save? I have a shiny Fido and a shiny Sprigatito. They are, I think, these two. The wrong thing. Yeah, so a shiny Fido and a shiny Sprigatito. Those are the only two I have. I found the Fido while just working on completing my Pokedex, and then the Sprigatito was, I don't know, was it from the last stream we did for the starters before doing Kimmy stuff? I think that's the case. Have you ever done a legendary shiny hunt or like a Legends shiny hunt, like in Legends Arceus? I have. I got very unlucky. I actually struggled a lot to find shinies in Arceus. Both because I was confused on how the method worked, and then also because I just got unlucky. Paris took me hundreds of encounters. Legendary Pokemon in general, yes. I have every shiny legendary from Gen 1 through Gen 4. Most of Gen 5. I need to work on that some more. It's been well over a year since I did it. But yeah, I have a ton of the shinies and stuff. Of legendaries. I've been meaning to get all of them. I do those in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon with the Ultra Wormholes. That was always the way I hunted those. Man, that takes me, thinking about that takes me back. Doing like the dual hunting between Dynamax Adventures and like shiny soft resetting. Wild. Tried one time with Mewtwo, only to get after 8 hours. Dang. Yeah, I've had some lucky hunts. I got Ho-Oh in like 30 encounters. I think it was like 32. Which was almost like the fastest I've ever found a shiny while looking for one. I think the only thing... I think I had like a Dratini I found more quickly than that, but not much else. But I also had a Regice that took like 8 months, almost. 2 years of shiny hunting Manaphy. I need to get back to that. Phantom Kitsune, welcome to the stream. How you doing? I need to get back to the Manaphy hunt. I have all the eggs, I grossly miscalculated which part was the most difficult. Turns out it's not collecting all the eggs. If you had a strategy... I don't know how it is... I don't know how it is now, though. I don't know if you can still get TS cartridges from GameStop. Like, I feel like we're at a point where, like, the 3DS cartridges are equivalent to what the TS cartridges were for me back in 2019 when I got all of those. Manaphy isn't shiny locked. It is a very, very strange hunt in the original Diamond and Pearl. The one in Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, those are locked. I don't know if there's a way to get one in Arceus aside from those games. There's been one Manaphy that's ever been unlocked, and it is in original Diamond and Pearl. The Manaphy egg from Pokemon Ranger. You know, you transfer it. Force, thank you for the sub. I appreciate that. Sub hype. But so the Manaphy, like the Manaphy egg in Diamond and Pearl, the original Manaphy egg from Ranger, it is shiny. The way eggs worked back then is different how they work in Gen 8 and onwards. Before Gen 8, the shininess was calculated at hatch. Like, the egg was given a ton of stats when it was created, and when it was hatched, the egg stats and the trainer stats were, like, compared and meshed, and a bunch of random math in the background happened to determine stuff. And if those numbers lined up right, it made the Pokemon shiny. It's a very gross simplification of it. So if, like, so that egg was set, the game you, like, transferred the egg to from Ranger, that Diamond or Pearl save, it was intentionally shiny locked. Like, it would, they made sure it wouldn't sync. They made sure it would, like, wouldn't mesh. But if you trade that egg to another save, when it hatches, they'll redo that math, and there's a chance it lines up and it's shiny. So the excruciating method is trade the egg to a new Diamond or Pearl save, hatch it, or save right before you save right after trading it, hatch the egg. If it's shiny, congrats, you got it. If it's not, you reset the game back to before you hatched the egg, and you trade it to another new save that you made in a different Diamond or Pearl game. And then you repeat the process, just constantly making new saves. It's brutal. It's supposed to be shiny locked, but trading eggs across two saves makes it sensible. Exactly. They did put in the effort to try to make it locked, but because of the way eggs worked back then, you could get around it with a lot of effort. But that's where it's like, I thought the hard part was buying 10 plus copies of Pokemon Ranger, because there's only one Manaphy egg per, like, cartridge, not per save, per cartridge. Which was brutal. And then it was, so I thought that would be the hard part, was finding 10 copies of the game, playing through Ranger 10 times, finding the eggs. Is the shiny at least good? It's okay. It's honestly not that great. It's not as bad as some shinies are. It's not as bad as like Gimmighoul, right? Gimmighoul I think is pretty bad. I thought fighting Gimmighoul is the hard part. I'm bad at determining what the hard part of a shiny hunt is, it seems. It's not really that great. It's not like a groundbreaking shiny. It's one of those ones where they never really thought you'd get it. It's just a lighter blue. Yeah. They make it a little more teal. So it's not the greatest shiny out there, but if you're hardcore going for like a living shiny dex, and you need everything, it's worth it at that point. And it's more so the bragging rights that come along with that kind of hunt. If the Pokemon was meant to be shiny locked, why did they still create a shiny sprite for it? So it fits in the data more cleanly. There's always a chance that, in general, I don't know if there's any Pokemon that's more than 2 generations old that hasn't been available in some way. Generally speaking, shiny locked Pokemon now are locked so that they can make an event out of it later, right? Gimmighoul was shiny locked, but they did the raid event. A lot of times legendaries are locked, but then they do like the little card giveaways at GameStops and stuff like that. So generally speaking, you will eventually be able to get that shiny in some shape or form. I think there's only a very, very select handful of Pokemon that have never been officially made available shiny. But from a software perspective, you put something in that slot. In old games, it was just because the way shinies were done was like take the like colors used for a shiny or for the regular Pokemon and do some like computer like binary math on it to generate a new color. That's why so many old shinies look ugly as sin. And some got redos once they hit like Gen 6 and started manually texturing them. But nowadays it's just Pokemon data includes the shiny, right? They have a normal texture and a shiny texture, and you have to put something in for both. Otherwise, the game doesn't know what to do with it. So they create a placeholder. That's why a lot of them are kind of bland, kind of ugly. They're not really all that thought out because they don't want to use it, or again, usually it's because they'll end up doing an event with it at some point. Got 3 Pokemon you can use as bragging rights. I need to get a Wishmaker Jirachi. That's gonna be my big one. And like, so much of what I want to do involves having like one more of those, one more GameCube, and either 4 more GameCubes on top of that, or like 4 Wiis. 4 somethings that can also act like GameCubes. I'm so close. It's so close to perfection. It's got all of the Game Boy players match, all of the controllers match. There's other weird stuff plugged into this one that I'm messing with and need to work on for like a video of some sort. But no, that's a fun hunt. I need to get back to that. A lot of Gen 9 shiny Pokemon are pitiful. It's wild. Some of the Pokemon in this game are fantastic. Like, initial designs of Pokemon in this game are great. But they have so many meh shinies, right? It's weird, and I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is that's made this such a problem. Because, for one thing, shiny hunting's way more popular now than it's ever been. Gen 7 started this and just like blew the door wide open for shiny hunting, I think. That's at least where I joined in, so that's what I know. Sillage and Armarouge shinies had so much potential. Right, Force? Right? They're such cool Pokemon. They have this neat coloring theme to them that you could just take advantage of. It's right in front of you. Look at like a Sylveon for like the shiniest. Just flip the colors. Just move the colors between the 2 Pokemon. It'd be so cool. But they don't do it. I don't know why. I don't know. It's not meh. A lot of them are like, are you shiny or not? Yeah. And those are always my least. Like, whenever people would ask me back in the day, oh, what's your least favorite shiny? It's like, I don't have a least favorite. I just have like I don't like when not a lot happens to it. Pikachu, Gengar, you know, what else? Garchomp. Stuff like that, right? Like, it doesn't change a lot. Regice I dislike for other reasons. But yeah, like that's the issue you run into here. Or like you run into a lot of them. And yeah, there's so many that are like that. I don't know if it's because they can manually do it now, they don't want to. Like, they're like, oh, the Pokemon's supposed to look like this, so we're gonna make the shiny also look like that. It's like, no, make it ridiculous. I'd prefer ugly colors to similar colors. Not gonna be angry, but a white Flamigo would be an easy shiny to come up with. I mean, it's, yeah, I can kind of agree. Got mad with the Paradox shinies. Some of them doesn't change anything. I haven't actually seen a lot of the Paradox shinies, especially I haven't seen a lot of the shinies for Scarlet. I've seen a lot of the Violet ones, which is an interesting concept. I think that's one where I'm not a super big fan of what they did, but I respect what they did with those, and it makes sense. Where it's like they're defects off the line and they didn't get painted. That's cool. You did something. Like I said, I prefer ugly colors to same colors. I don't think the all chrome looks too great personally. I think it would have been cool to see them do. I think you could have done the shiny pattern from what they originally were, right? You have, like, they're based off of Pokemon that exist with shinies now. Especially if they have good shinies, use their old shiny color. Would have been my preference. But they at least did something neat and clever, and it had a reason. And, like, I appreciate that. They kind of put effort in there. I haven't been catching Pokemon in Scarlet, so you don't have the shiny charm, but it's still easy to hunt shiny Pokemon. Why don't they make a sparkle sound? Why'd they take that out? That was one thing that Arceus did get right. Why'd they take that out? Jigglypuff's the only one that changed the color from the eyes. Only changed the color for the eyes. Oh, yeah. To be fair, though, that is all that Jigglypuff did before. Rip colorblind people. That's just not even making, like, their inaccessible arguments, right? Like, it's just, from a gameplay perspective, it's like, you're just gonna miss them because they're not there. And because they all look the same, right? If it doesn't look any different and it doesn't sparkle, how are you gonna know? Right? You have a Garchomp walking around in the wild with no other Garchomps near it. Is it shiny? Who knows? Oh yeah, I also can say you're gonna lurk. Friends coming over with me. I want to wrap up this song before we get here. Oh, nice. How many eggs did I hatch already? I think like 35 at this point for today. I don't know how many I had hatched before that. They're relatively slow going. Even with Flame Body, it takes a little bit. I wish we had something similar to what we had in Gen 7. Gen 7 had such a great setup for eggs. I really, really liked the way Gen 7 was set up, where you could just run in a circle right in front of the ranch, or like go into a box specifically sized so that Tauros would just spin in circles while you rode on it. Like, I don't know, I feel like I'm biased because Gen 7's kind of what got me back into Pokemon, and I spent a lot of time with it. But I feel like between the end of Gen 6 with Oras and Gen 7, so much more care was put into those games than what was put into either of the generations on the Switch. And I know I'm not in the majority here. I know I'm very much not the popular opinion on this, but when the two remake games that you made between Let's Go and BDSP are the best games that are out on this platform, again, I know I'm not in the majority on that. You've messed up. Especially when those games were so explicitly remaking old games or using completely, like watered down mechanics, right? I remember when Let's Go came out, I was like, this is just kind of weird to be the first game on the Switch, like starting with what's clearly going to be like the weakest entry, and then it's like my second favorite set of games that came out of this console. Yikes! Cynthia rematch battle. I don't actually know if I've beaten her in Shining Pearl or not. Yeah, but I don't know. I personally feel like I still haven't played Gen 5, so I can't speak on that. I know a lot of people are big fans of that one still. I think it's now generally the older section of the community that has had their first nostalgia bump and is aging back out again. That really like Gen 5. I think that's kind of the point we're hitting with it more than anything. And we're gonna start seeing Gen 6 is gonna be pulling up more and more in that in general. But I know like a lot of people talk about Gen 5 having a lot of care put into it. I think Gen 7 was very similar. A lot of things were polished in Gen 7. Even if the game was a little bit more linear than a lot of people would like. I like the story-drivenness of it. That's why I tend to enjoy them. It's something that made me wary about Gen 9, but I ended up actually kind of liking the open world. I think the mechanics in this game were... A lot of the, like, gameplay mechanics in here, solid. Little more emphasis on sandwiches than I would have liked. Oh, when Pokemon Sleep comes in the West, you're gonna have world records of that game. Oh, Worcester's gonna have world records. Is Pokemon Sleep not out? I thought it was out. Like, I feel like I've seen people post about it very briefly. Like, I know that was a whole thing, right? Like, that was a whole... It was a meme how long it had been since they announced it. But I don't know, again, I feel like there's a lot of stuff that, like... Gen 8 and Gen 9 have had their little, like, quality of life improvements for certain things, like battling and breeding for competitive Pokemon and stuff. That's nice. But, like, I don't know. General purpose stuff, I feel like Gen 7 was the one that had the most things. I think it was the beta version. Got you. Which with how like mobile games go, it's out. They're one day gonna not call it a beta. Going into the box only to get your eggs is kind of slow to shiny hunt. What do you mean by that, Force? Oh, a bag only to hatch eggs? Oh, like you mean like all your eggs are in this and they all just kind of like hatch? You don't have to like keep pulling them out? That'd be interesting. I don't know how well that would work. Like I don't know, like you would just be hatching eggs anytime you had the eggs. A bag that can hatch like 100 eggs. That'd be wild. That would definitely make it go more quickly. That'd make both shiny hunting and competitive breeding go way more quickly. I don't know how well that would work gameplay-wise, right? It'd be interesting, though. Kind of bad mechanically. With box spacing. True. You would be using space... Because if it's only eggs in that bag, as soon as they hatch, they get moved to the PC. So it requires like you using up PC space for the bag. It's an interesting thing. Directly to the box. Yeah, makes sense. That's the interesting bit. That's the interesting bit. Where it's like, you have to have space in the PC for the Pokemon to come out of the bag into. It would be a lot faster. That's for sure. Especially if they were just hatching constantly. You could be doing tons of other stuff. Right, like, I mean, like, technically, I could be running around right now and, like, looking for shinies and stuff, but I already lose track of how many eggs I've hatched here. If I was looking for other Pokemon at the same time, I would absolutely just be running around with a full party of hatched eggs. Good idea in theory, but with Game Freak, no way pass. This is the company that managed to make sound settings an in-game missable item. That right there is one of the strangest decisions I've ever seen. Like, I genuinely don't get what was going on with that, right? Y'all remember that? Sword and Shield, there was like headphones you had to go find, and like you weren't given them. You had to find the NPC talking about them to adjust sound settings beyond just like the up and down volume on the Switch, which is really all it did. I don't know. That one was weird. Like, in a game where they removed so many settings, the fact, like, they forced so many things on you, the fact that, like, you have to find the audio settings. That's an item. I can remember the chatbot, the chat out, you can change the cry. That was such a cool little thing! I understand why they removed it before online play became real popular. But that was such a cool little thing. Didn't know that, didn't play Sword and Shield properly. I probably only know about it because of how much I was looking at all, like, the Twitter rage and, like, just the stupid stuff that was coming out as decisions in Gen 8, right? Like, this is peak everyone being upset about the national decks no longer being a thing, right? Like, not even, like, it not being a thing, right? It wasn't a thing in Gen 7, but, like, peak of, like, the bring back national decks and, like, the whole, like, deck sit problem. Because, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I was, like, Sword and Shield took me out of Pokemon a good bit. Crown Tundra kind of got me back into it with Dynamax Adventures and whatnot. I started, at one point, we started a Sinistea hunt. Never got anywhere with that. That did not pan out. Yeah. But yeah, like, that definitely, those games in the whole definitely kind of bummed me out after I played them a little bit. Because we played a little bit on stream, I think the first night it came out. I finished the whole game in a weekend, which I think is fairly common at this point. Do you miss the Mega mechanic? I'm indifferent to Megas. I got into Pokemon with, like, Gen 3, and then got back into Pokemon in ORAS. So I did get back into Pokemon with, like, and I fell out of Pokemon for, like, Gen 5 and X and Y. So I got back in with ORAS. So I started my Pokemon journeys with Hoenn twice. But yeah, so, like, Megas were a thing in ORAS, and, like, we're still kind of a big mechanic there. I'm not a competitive player. I've never been a competitive player. I play the story and try to complete the Pokedex and look for shinies. That's what I do in Pokemon. So the games never had a point where Megas were necessary. I had Mega Evolve Sceptile because they gave me the Mega Stone for it, and I'd use it in battles, and eventually I stopped because it was slow. I think it's a really neat idea. I understand why people like it and want it back. That's not my hill to die on, you know? Especially in a world where Megas making it 2 generations was the longest any of those gimmicks have ever lasted. Kind of kept playing because of Mega. That's fair. Just learned what Stonejourner was, and you hate it, or forgot what it was and relearned. Miss Megas, but they were busted, but they're technically partially new Pokemon. I don't know. I think they're cool. I think Terra typing is a decent mechanic. I think between all the mechanics that have been introduced over the past, I guess, 4 generations, 6 through 9, Megas had a lot of work put into them. They were a good way that they were attempting to kind of rebalance some Pokemon, give some old Pokemon new light. Mega Rayquaza could have held an item, could have a held item. Balancing it was kind of hard, you think? But Mega Rayquaza is so different because it's, like, not really. I mean, same thing with, like, I know, like, Groudon and Kyogre had to hold their item to do it, but it's, like, the same kind of deal with them, you know? So it's like, in general, it helped give new life to a lot of forgotten Pokemon that weren't competitively viable. You gave them a Mega, and if they stacked up well, you know, they bump up the ranks. They bump up rankings in Smogon and stuff. It was allowed, Rayquaza as the only Pokemon that can use all the gimmicks at once. True. True. But, like, between the gimmicks of the last 4 generations, I think Mega was the most well thought out. I think Terra typing is also really good. I think... I'm personally of the opinion as well that, they kind of did it... They kind of did this backwards with the gyms. They did Terra typing backwards for the gym leaders in Scarlet Violet. I think it would have been really great for gym leaders to Terra type away from their gym type. I think it would have been way cooler. But in general, I think, yeah, Megas are the best. Terra typing's the second best. Z moves are alright. They're okay. They're an extra kind of move thingy. Cool. It can sway battles. I think they were fine as a supplement alongside Megas. Then you go way, way down to Dynamaxing. That was just not a good mechanic. What if Pokemon but bigger is just kind of dumb, right? I was never a fan. Need to hold a Z move, Dynamax or Terrasilize. Yeah. Oh, you don't need to hold an item for Dynamax or Terrasilize. Yeah. Yeah, no, like... I think there were balance problems there, but like, that's where you rebalance stuff. Add a counter, do whatever. Dynamax doesn't last forever. It does not, but it lasts momentarily. I think that's kind of what Juan's say. But like, yeah, Dynamax, I was just so not a fan of. It felt very lazy. They're big. Terra gives you stab. Indeed, and it lasts forever. Yeah, no, like I said, Terra typing is better. Terrastalizing is better than Dynamaxing in every way. Like Terra typing is a more refined Dynamax. It actually makes the whole concept of it make sense. It makes this idea of changing and shifting mid-match make sense. So I like Terra typing. Terra raids I think are also better than Dynamax raids were. As far as like a multiplayer game mechanic. And again, this is where I think a lot of Gen 9 is solid under the hood. But the hood is rusty and dented and horrible. Right, like it's... I have such mixed feelings on Gen 9. Broken when you use it on a strong Pokemon with bad types. I think it's fine. Right? I think in terms of using it in single player and against NPCs, yeah, be busted, be OP, be whatever. When you're going up against like competitive people in like PvP tournaments and stuff, they're gonna have counters and it's fine. Hey, what's going on, Rose Girl? Welcome. But the thing is, is giving a strong Pokemon a better type for one match broken? Or is it saving the Pokemon? Steel Terra Avalugg is one of the best takes. Cool, you gave Avalugg a place to exist. I love that, that's great. It's like what Megas did for a lot of Pokemon. Dynamax didn't do that. And Z-moves don't really do that. So that's where it's like, yeah, I think Terra types are like second only to Megas. Imagine facing a Mega Dynamax Terrestrialized Rayquaza with a move that also has one of the highest stat-based total in the game. And you can do it in the showdown, right? You can make it happen, right? Finally got shiny Eevee and Scarlet. Awesome! Want to see fireworks in other towns that they had theirs rescheduled. Last set you were going to do since the current box will be full. Oh dang. The first egg was a shiny. Nice! Imagine if Cynthia had this version of Rayquaza. No, I don't want to. You can only do one from the gen. Is there not a way in show? I thought in Showdown there was like ways to just like do like anything goes battles. I might be wrong. I've only used Showdown like 3 or 4 times. I think I might just finish up this box and wrap up. Like I said at the start of stream, my shoulder and back are like dying right now. Like today is just a day that like my back is acting up. It's a wimp from getting smacked in the head. Pretty good at battling, right? Yeah, totally. That's definitely my strength in Pokemon. Able to get your shiny Gen 9 EV in time for your trip to Arizona. Nice! That's awesome. Did you ever play Pokemon using Nuzlocke tools? I have not. I tend to play a lot more post-game. Like, I'll play through the game, like, once. Like, through the story once, and from there I usually just kind of shiny hunt after that. So no, I haven't actually ever done a Nuzlocke. I would be very bad at that. It's not my skills. I'm not good with any kind of, like, challenge rules. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna need to like go ice my back or something after this. You've done several Nuzlocks before. Juan's pretty skilled when it comes to Pokemon. Well, I do the time zone difference, not flying till late afternoon. Might binge 2 movies. There you go. Yeah, keep yourself busy on the traveling. Yo, Pretty, what's going on? Is the Delphox raid over? I didn't know there was a Delphox raid. I pay very little attention to the raids outside of like the big like ones like Gimme Ghoul. So I don't know. I didn't know it had started, but Pretty, thank you for the sub. I appreciate it. Fair enough. Yeah. Alright, we've got 2 more sets of eggs to hatch before I'm gonna go and like rest my back because I'm old and like crippled. I don't know. My back is so sore right now. I don't know why. Like any way I try to position my shoulder to stop it, it's just like nah. Used to do competitive Pokemon, but all you do now are gimmick battle strategies. Juan's actually Temp 60. I play any ROM hacks? Not like all the way through. I've started 1 or 2 before, but that was like a long time ago, like 10 plus years ago. That I would like start one. Never really finished them. I know there's a ton of them out there that people really like, but there's none that I've gotten into. Again, most of the time that I put into Pokemon ends up being into shiny hunting. That's like the thing I like about Pokemon and what's kind of drawn me in over the past several years. So usually if it's shiny hunting, I've done it or tried it or something. But if it's not shiny hunting, there's a pretty solid chance I haven't done it. I remember there was one time with stream stuff. This is way back, like first few months I had been streaming, so like 2017, I had thought about doing like a randomizer in like Red or something. I think that was something I wanted to do after my first couple shiny hunts finished up. 6-0 with a chat up before that is awesome. I love that. Do you think the ROMs have the stronger storyline? Like I said, it's been a long time. I haven't played them in a while. I would imagine a lot of the ROMs have really strong stories, right? Like, you know, if people are really passionate about it and are making what they want to make, I can see them putting in some better stories. I think there's also a lot of risk that when it's just like fanfics of Pokemon, basically, in a lot of ways, it can be weird. And like the story can kind of be weaker because it is an amateur writer versus a professional team. So I don't know. I wouldn't say blanket yes or no. Champion and the newer games are kind of meh. That is fair. That is very fair. But I don't think that gives any more leaning to or away from ROM hacks. I think that's just a sign that Game Freak doesn't quite know how to move forward and what their direction is with the stories in current Pokemon games. I think they're in a weird situation where they're trying to kind of balance what they perceive as like trends in gaming along with what makes Pokemon Pokemon, and I don't think they've quite hit it right. I think especially the last two generations, they've really been off that mark. Arguably with like champions and stuff, they've been off that mark for a bit longer than that. Kind of missed the challenge from Cynthia. I think a lot of people do. I think a lot of people really do. I understand why they would want to not necessarily have that, but like, because the thing is, and I think there's always the argument that people make of like, oh, Pokemon's a kid's game at the end of the day, which isn't incorrect, but I don't think that means that you need to make it super dumbed down. I think in general, a lot of media over the past few years has shown that, hey, just because it's a kid's thing doesn't mean it needs to be like dumbed down and super kiddie. As long as you just don't make it inappropriate, you can have it be like, I think a lot of things are finally kind of coming back around on a point of like, you don't need to make it for kids, you just need to make it accessible to them, right? You just need to make it, you just can't make it not for them, right? I think that's something that we're kind of hitting more with a lot of movies and shows and stuff, as well as I hope games kind of pick more up on that again, right? Like, because again, the argument is, oh, Pokemon should be easy, it's a kid's game. But how many people love Pokemon because as a kid they remember challenges like Cynthia? Right? I don't think it inherently means like, I don't think kids game inherently means it can't be difficult. I think there's a certain level of like, yeah, make like, if there's any kind of deep mechanics, make them a little bit like invisible and in the background. You can find them, but like they're not at the forefront, right? Like IVs and EVs and stuff are pretty hidden from kids. Kids see the typing of the Pokemon at the level, and that's all they give. That's all they need to do decently, right? And then you have a challenge like Cynthia, and it's wild, and it's you beat it, and it's memorable, right? And I think there's a lot more room for that we don't see anymore. Digimon Cyber Sleuth 1 and 2. Someone's got to buy them for me then. Surfing those games are pretty cool and hard. Yeah, yeah. See if you know what to get and what Digimon to get. See, I don't know that though. I think that's where it'd be entertaining. Speaking of entertainment and streams, I've been watching Doug recently, and I really feel like I should be incorporating stuff like that into streams. I think that'd be incredibly fun. The coding and everything that happens. Like I do that. I have those skills. I can do that. Why don't I do that? So I don't know. I'm looking at that as a random offhanded topic, right? So, oh yeah, by the way, I'm thinking of Alright, last Pokemon right here is not shiny. Eevee hosts and Digimon routes to take. Or routes for the individual Digimon. Going to get some sleep. Sounds good for us. That's good timing because I just finished up as well with what I plan on doing for the night. Like I said, my back is killing me. And I want to go lie down or stand up or do something that's not sitting right here. So yeah, with that, thank you everyone. I appreciate y'all coming out, hanging out. If you're not in the Discord, should be a link down below. Feel free to join up. Apologies again for ending a little bit earlier. Usually I'd be going for like another 45 minutes, but I am still recovering from what I guess technically counts as a car accident. Technically speaking, it was an accident in a car, so I think it counts. Do a flip? No. I would hurt my back even more. But yeah, so thank you everyone for being here. I appreciate it. Like I said, join the Discord. Should be linked down below somewhere. If you're not in it, I'm hoping to do an only up stream on Twitch on Thursday. I hope. We'll see. And probably more shiny hunting at some point in the next week as well. By Monday, I would like to say at the latest. We'll find out. But yeah, thanks everyone for being here. It was great talking with y'all, and I will catch y'all on the next one. Until then, take care.